What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So we just got done doing our initial stream for the most recent TM against Kizaru. So this video is going to show you guys my current teams against this event. We do have some slight alterations to the TM prep video that I showed off a couple of days ago. But this team here that you're seeing versus Kizaru Intrusion Boss is essentially the same. So by using the double Luffys, we can use one Luffy on stage 2 and one Luffy on stage 3. And Frankie is really good for this fight, this Legend Frankie, being able to remove the Despair and the Paralysis on stage 2. And with the support of Mr. 3, we can give him -2 turns of cooldown on the final stage, which allows him to get his special ready again for the final stage, which does actually allow us to remove like damage nullification, which is awesome. The set target status for even more damage is really strong. Alternatively, if you're not doing this current strat, you could use the Sai free-to-play Sanji on the team, because on the final stage he allows you to remove damage nullification and also barriers, so that actually works out quite well if you're not doing that strat. But it does depend on your team comp and what characters you have available, because without the Frankie, removing the Despair and the Paralysis on stage 2 is a little finicky. The other characters on this team though, we have the Nami and Karina. Main reason why they are here is because they have the capabilities of removing barrier when we trigger the Nami special, which is really good for us. And then with the supports on this team, you see the Sabo there removing 2 turns of defense, the Brook attaching 2, Nami Karina removing 2 turns of defense, the Perispera on Big Mom removing 2 turns of defense. So remove all the defense without actually having to use a special, which opens up a lot of different ways that you can get through this content with those really cool supports. And damage definitely is not an issue against this Kizaru. Moving on to one of our first Battle Rush fights against Bluegrass. This team went through a lot of changes from my treasure map prep video. Initially, I mentioned that I was using Cat Viper and Dogstorm, but the issue is that on the final stage, the enemy does a big health cut to you, which actually negates the usefulness of Cat Viper Captain. So in this instance, we're going to be using Carrot instead. We're wave clearing with the Opera rare recruit, one of the GOAT rare recruits for TM. And then we are using some really key supports of Roger and Odin, the old school rare recruit Ace, and also Double Dice, I think his name is, Double Down, whatever his name is. Essentially, we're getting an attack boost or boost color affinity just via the supports, and then by using the free-to-play Ivankov with that Mr. 3 support to get the Ivankov the cooldown, we can use the special of that Eva to remove the burn and also generate a full board of matching slots. Moving on to our next Battle Rush boss against the Pacifista. This is the exact same team that I talked about in my prep video. We're going to be using the Queen Captain actions to allow the 2 Queen Captains to bypass defensive effects with their normal attacks. And then also with their special ability of Queen, we can get a full board of matching slots, we can get a color affinity boost. And then by using the special of Blackbeard, we get a chain buff, which is kind of important because Queens are essentially the only characters on our team that are going to actually do damage against the Pacifista. So we want to get a chain so that they're doing as much damage as possible. And then with the support of the Driven Uta, we can get a 1.5 times attack and orb boost to our Driven characters. So it allows Queen to do even more damage. And this team should be lasting a pretty good amount of time throughout this TM. I think eventually you'll have to change it, but for now it works quite well. Our next Battle Rush boss is against Vice Admiral Dole. Very straightforward fight this time around. They really want you to use this 6+ Kizaru, which everyone should have gotten for free from the most recent Rumble season. And then the Grand Feast Sugo Fest Sentomaru. With those 2 specials, you get through all of the debuffs, the Special Bind, the reverse, the blow away. They deal with everything. The only issue that I suppose they don't really deal with is they don't give you any matching slots. So if you want to have some matching slots, you could use the green ball special, like what I have on my team here. You could use something else, but either way, in the earlier stages of TM, getting matching slots here isn't a major issue because the color affinity from Kizaru and the chain boost is usually good enough. The final Battle Rush boss is against Lucci. This fight is really dumb because they basically want you to use the new Legend Brook as a friend captain, or unless of course you have Brook yourself. They really want you to use that Brook in this fight because you need to be at a certain HP threshold. I think it's like below 60%, and if you're not below 60%, you have to deal with the action special bind, whatever it is, for all characters. But if you're below that HP threshold, then Brook can remove it for you because he'll only affect your crewmates, so your captains will be untouched, meaning you can use the Brook special to get around the action silence, as well as the fact that Brook gives defense down through immunity is massive, and for us we do have the support of Mihawk to do end of turn damage to allow us to get through that resilience buff on the enemy. And finally, we have the final boss, which is against J. Garcia Saturn. Now, this team has gone through a little bit of change because initially, throughout most of the TM runs I was doing, I was using Kuma as the friend captain. And the main reason for that is that Kuma has that ability to do damage to the enemy, he removes the damage threshold, and he has defensive layers to prevent us from dying. However, we kind of realized that you actually don't need him if you have other characters. Like, I have Frankie on this team. We can use Frankie on stage 2 and we can use Frankie on stage 3, and Frankie's a damage dealing special which will trigger the interrupt of Saturn. The damage that you do towards Saturn does not need to be damage that goes through defense. Even just a regular damage dealing special like what Frankie does here, even though it just pings on the barrier, it doesn't actually go through it, it still triggers the interrupt, which is massive. The only issue is by not using Kuma, you still have to find a way to get through the damage threshold on his side of the field. Luckily, Nami and Karina have the ability to remove damage threshold as well as remove attack down, so we can remove both of the different gimmicks simultaneously with them, and Nami and Karina also put up a damage threshold on our side of the field to tank the hit from the J. Garcia Saturn, so Nami and Karina absolutely stay winning. And people may ask, well, why wouldn't you just use Kuma as a friend captain anyway? Well, in this instance, Luffy actually does give you more points. Luffy's a 2.2 times point booster, whereas Kuma is only a 2 times point booster. So it is up to you at the end of the day, but if you want more points, Luffy is actually a better friend captain to use if your team can provide the rest of the gimmicks to get around Saturn's abilities here. So by using the special ability here of Frankie, we can remove the barrier, and then he also type changes, he gets rid of the damage reduction versus certain slots, we're going to remove the threshold, and then we can go ahead and get that kill. That's going to wrap it up for me for this video. Good luck to everyone on their treasure map grind. Hopefully you're able to get all the points. Remember to go to 20 million this time for the super treasure map, and good luck on your legend tickets. So hopefully you enjoyed this video today, and if you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.